Welcome to Flawless Shoe Reviews. Today I'm going to review the most comfortable shoes in the market. However, some people consider the most comfortable shoes the most amount of cushioning that's underneath your foot, but that's not always the case. Some mistakes that people make is they think that more cushioning equals a softer feel, but they don't consider that a softer feel can make a shoe a bit more unstable, but you can also have loads of cushioning and have a really firm sole underneath. There's also different factors that influence the stability and the fit and the feel of the shoe. Also, what happens to the softness of the cushioning after you use it for 200 to 300 miles. I'll break down the answers to all of these questions and explain to you what are the best features in each of these shoes so you have a better idea of which is the best for you at the end of the video. So the first shoe I'm going to talk to you about is one of the most popular walking shoes in the New Balance range, and that's the New Balance 1080. Now the previous model of this had a really soft midsole that it was probably one of the softest cushioning I've ever experienced under my foot. They firmed it up a little bit in this model, the 1080 V14, so it's quite a balanced cushioning when you apply pressure to it, so when you initiate contact with the ground, you sink into the shoe, really comfortable, real cloud-like feel, and then you transition nicely from the back to the front. It's got a nice 4-foot rocker, and that's where the cushioning in the shoe tilts upward, and it facilitates a nice push-through motion when you're walking. So a really comfortable feel from the back to the front of the shoe. On top, it's got a nice wide toe box in the normal fit, but it comes in a wide and an extra wide for those of you with broader feet. It's a true to size and length. It's got a little bit less volume than some other shoes in the toe box, so it's just not as high. So those of you with any sensitivity on the top of their big toe, it's just something to be aware of. It's got loads of padding around the heel cup and it's relatively flexible. So those of you with sensitivity at the back of the heel, you may enjoy the 1080 V14. So it's an excellent pick overall, very durable, and it doesn't soften too much or get too firm when you use it for longer periods of time. Then a shoe with a little bit more stability is the Higa Arai 8. Now they completely transformed this compared to the Model 6 and 7, and they put in a H frame for stability in the midsole. Now this is where the foam is more denser on the outside and across the middle of the shoe, and it focuses on keeping you centered in the shoe as you move. So those of you with some ankle instability who struggle with pronation control, you might enjoy the H frame that's built into the Higa Arai 8. It's also got some sidewalls on the inside and the outside of the shoe. These come up, cradle your ankle, try and give extra elements of stability, especially when you initiate contact with the ground. They've widened the forefoot as well, so it's now a normal fit on top, but it does come in a wide version as well. However, it's just important to note that even in the wide version, it does taper a little bit in the toe box for those of you who need that extra space. You may not enjoy it. If you want a little bit extra space and you enjoy Higa, you might look at the Higa Gaviota 5. As we move up the shoe, it's got a nice knit engineered mesh on top, plenty of padding around the tongue, and it's got a really flexible heel counter. So again, those of you with sensitivity at the back there, you'll really enjoy having that flexibility around your heel so it doesn't irritate it if you've got sensitive hot spots there. It's got a nice broad base of support underneath to keep that extra element of stability, and it's what we classify as a moderate stability shoe. Now when it comes to comfort, it's a bit more plush and a bit softer than the previous model, which was quite firm. So when you apply pressure to it, you sink into it, not necessarily as soft as what we get in the 1080, but still really comfortable whether you're standing or walking for long periods of time. So an excellent option if you want a mild to moderate stability shoe. Then a shoe that some of you may not have heard of, which is the Topo Atmos, which is one of the best fitting shoes on the market in my opinion. The reason for that is it's got a really wide toe box, so what they classify as an anatomical toe box. That allows your toes to splay, ample space for those of you with broader forefeet, but it's got the best fit in the midfoot and the rear foot, so it's really snug around there and then broadens out nicely in the forefoot, and that will suit the majority of the population. Those of you with a broader foot throughout the shoe might consider the Ultra experience, as it's also got an anatomical toe box, a 4mm drop, and it's got a wide fit throughout the whole shoe. So then we've got a 5mm drop in the Topo Atmos, so that's the difference from the back to the front of the shoe. So a low drop is what we consider 6mm or below. That gives a nice even distribution of pressure across your foot. If you've got any sensitivity in the forefoot, you'll enjoy having that even distribution. When we consider a high drop, which is typically 8mm or above, it places you with more pressure on the forefoot and can create some hot spots for those of you with sensitivity there. One of the pros of that is that it offloads the Achilles. So at 5mm, the Topo Atmos is considered a lower drop shoe, but it's got an excellent 4-foot rocker and it's got a nice balanced zip foam cushioning. So again, it's a little bit firmer than what we saw in the 1080 and in the Arai, but it's not rock solid, so you don't get a really firm end feel as soon as you initiate contact with the ground. So a little bit more balanced than the other two, great anatomical toe box and a 5mm drop. Then we can move on to a really max cushion shoe, and that's the Brooks Glycerin Max. So as you can see, it's got a huge stack underneath your foot, it's got a low drop to get a nice even distribution pressure, and it's got one of the best forefoot rockers that we've seen on the market. So you can see it just rises up really sharply, and if we put it in contrast to the Arai 8, it doesn't rise up near as sharply in this, even though it's got a really good forefoot rocker. So this is really good if you want loads of protection underneath your forefoot. It's got a really stiff toe box and you want a nice forefoot rocker. It's got some elements of stability, but it's still a classic neutral shoe. It's got a nice thick plush upper on top if you want some extra comfort. And it's got a normal width in the toe box, but unfortunately it doesn't come in a wide version. It's got stiffness around the heel counter, which tries to add extra elements of stability to compensate for the amount of cushioning underneath your foot. But if you want a max cushion shoe that's quite balanced overall, that's got a low drop and an excellent forefoot rocker, then the Glycerin Max can be an excellent option for you. Then we're going to move on to the ASICS Gel-Nimbus 27, which is one of the best selling shoes in the ASICS range. Now they've completely overhauled it compared to the Model 26, so it's got a much bouncier, much springier and more responsive midsole in it. As a result, if you're a quicker walker or you like to move at faster paces, this is really responsive with an excellent forefoot rocker to really facilitate that push-off phase. So it's really comfortable if you're standing or walking at slower paces. It's a bit more cloud-like, but really does pick up the pace due to its more aggressive geometry in the shoe. So an excellent fit overall with an 8mm drop. It's got plenty of space in the toe box, but this also comes in a wide version as well. True to size and length, it's got a really thin tongue and a nice pull-on tab, make it a little bit easier to slip on, and it's got loads of padding around the heel counter with the most padding of all 7 shoes. So if you're looking for a comfortable shoe with a slightly higher drop that's a bit more responsive, a bit more quicker to turn over, then the ASICS Gel-Nimbus 27 is an excellent option. Then we have an excellent option in the Nike Vomero 18. So it's got 2 different types of foam in the midsole. It's got its React X midsole, which is really soft, really comfortable, and it's got a Zoom X cushioning, which is a little bit firmer, which makes the shoe a little bit more responsive. So in line with the Nimbus 27, if you want a really quick shoe that's really comfortable, you can also use it for some running as well, then the Vomero 18 is an excellent option. It's got a really nice colorway, and it's got plenty of space in the toe box, comes in a wide version as well, plenty of padding around the heel cup as well, and a nice padded tongue as well. So if you want a nice springy, bouncy, responsive shoe, then the Nike Romero 18 is an excellent option. And then finally we've got the Encloud Monster 2. Now this is a relatively firm shoe and the firmest of all 7 shoes. It has a TPU plate that runs through the midsole to add that extra element of rigidity. It also works like a springboard to try and propulse you forward. So it's quite a fast shoe, but when you initiate contact with the ground, despite how the midsole looks, it is relatively firm. You get a quick end feel, and then it transitions you quickly from the back to the front of the shoe. It's relatively lightweight compared to the other 7 shoes that we're talking about, and it's got a really light upper on top. So if you're looking for a light shoe for the summer or in hotter climates, this is an excellent option. It's got a single engineered mesh on top, plenty of space in the toe box, and it's a true to size and length with a really thin tongue and a nice flexible heel counter, again for those of you with sensitivity in the back of the heel. So this is an excellent option if you want a lighter weight shoe that's quick to turn over, has plenty of padding underneath your foot, but it's a little bit firmer than some of the other shoes on the market. I've got links to all 7 shoes in the description if you want to check out the latest prices on them. If you have any questions on them, please drop them in the comment section below. Otherwise, if you find the video helpful or interesting, like and share and subscribing does make a massive difference to us. Thank you very much for watching.